Welcome back, friends. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add a backup device. So this will be somewhat different from the previous video, not completely, but somewhat different. And then further, I'm going to show you SQL Server logs. Let's take a look at what I mean here. So crank up SSMS as I have it. And on the left side now, expand the node that says Server Objects, and then right-click on Backup Devices. We're going to begin by adding a new backup device. All right, now a device can be an external device, maybe like an old-fashioned tape drive. If you look carefully, you see where it says under destination, it's grayed out, but it's still available in case you have it. It says tape. Okay, so people do use that still apparently. All right, and then at the next stage here for device name, I'm going to enter it as follows. I'm going to make one up, and I'm going to imagine that my C drive or some other drive that I have, or maybe an external drive that I have, they can function as backup devices also. Keep that in mind. So I'm going to say the following here. Say my DBase. I'm going to make it small case. So my DBase backup on C drive, like that. On C colon. That's good enough. Down below, we're going to change that. That gives you that default path, which is so ugly. I'm going to click the button with the three little dots on it to the right of it, and then go over to C. Expand that node, and then I'm going to choose this drive right here with that folded data, and I'm going to give my file here a backup name. So I'm going to say, for example, my dbase save file.bak. All right, I hope you see that. I'm going to click OK, and that's it. Those are the only things you have to configure here. It's very convenient, and then just click OK. And notice that immediately under backup devices, it gives you my dbase backup on C drive. That's good. So the next stage here, how do you make use of this? Take a look. You can do this in a couple different ways again. As an example, I'll show you a way. You can right-click back on it, and then choose. You can just right-click on it, and then choose backup a database right there, you see? So backup a database by right-clicking on it. And again, this screen looks similar to the one we saw from the previous video. It's the same thing. You can choose the database source. I will choose here my dbase. All right, backup type full, good. Backup component database, good. And notice that this already has my dbase backup on C colon selected in the little white space below. You can remove it and take a look. I'm going to remove it for a second, and it goes away. So where do you find that back? So now what you can do is just click add and take a look. Backup device instead, you see? So my dbase backup on C, and then click OK. So you have a device you've added. Now you can save to it. Under media options, again, maybe just enable the one that says verify backup when finished. That might be useful. Be sure everything has gone well. You can leave some of the other settings if you like. No problem with those. Override all existing backup sets. Maybe you want to do that. That's up to you, obviously, or just append to the current one. All right, backup options. Let's see. And again, the backup set is called master and then full database backup. You can change that. For example, I'm going to say here my dbase full backup like that. You can change it to that if you like. My dbase like that. You can give it a description. Backup set will expire, so you can choose that after or on a specific day. Up to you. You can also configure, let's see here, backup compression. So compress the backup as an example, or do not compress it, or use the default server setting. I'm going to leave it here on compress backup just to change the setting, and then we'll take a look at the result of doing that. All right, so hit OK here. And as you can see, it says here that backup database with compression is not supported on this Express edition. There you go. So click OK on that. Go back to the previous version of use the default server setting, and then give that a try. Let's see. Click OK. And now it's backing up, and it says the backup of database, my dbase completed successfully. Very good. Click OK. So we have backed up the file yet again. This time by using a backup device, which is really just a C drive. Again, it could be some external drive also. And at the next stage here, to restore it, we follow the same set of procedures as before. So right click on databases, go over to restore database. And again, from here, select device rather than database. If you select database, those are the databases available. We want to get it from the drive, so I go over to device instead. And then button with 3 dots. And then from here, you see where it says backup media type? We had the file, but now we also have the backup device besides also having the URL. So I'm going to choose backup device and click add. And from here, I can now choose my DBase backup on C drive and then just click OK. There you go. And again, if you like, you can click on verify backup media. And if you look at the status bar across the top in yellow, it says backup media verified successfully. So everything is in order. Good. Let's take a look also now under files. And that looks as shown here. So take a look. It says restore database files as. You have the data file folder, the log file folder. And down below, take a look. I'm going to expand these. You can double click once you see the 2-ended arrow appear between 2 column names. All right, my DBase, let's see. File type, rows of data, correct. Original file name, let's see. It looks as shown here. And let's see, restore as shown here. All right, if you click here, you can change those. You see that? Keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to close that. Go to options, and let's see. Here we have some additional options. So override the existing database with replace as an option. You can read through these, perhaps experiment a little, see what you get as a result of changing one of these or setting one of these checkboxes. For our purposes, however, I will leave them as they are. I just want to make you aware of their existence. And then click OK at the end of everything. And notice this is going again to generate an error because remember, if you look at the status bar, an editor window, my DBase is what I'm using, so I gotta stop it. And then go back to general. And I have 2 options, remember. I can either just specify a completely different database name, or I could obviously just pop out of the my DBase database context so I don't get this kind of error. But I'm just gonna go with my DBase 4 and then click OK. And it goes pretty fast after that. And it says it's been restored, excellent, click OK, and that's it. So it's an example here where I've shown you of configuring a backup device and then looking at some additional details when you restore from the backup device. And the last thing that I want to show you is this one. Take a look. Expand the management node on the left side. Oh, and just to go back for 1 second, remember, always double check, right? So my DBase 4 is available, good. The tables are available, good, and so on. All right, let me collapse that back. And go to management and then go down to SQL Server logs and then click on the first one, the current one, double click on it. And it brings up a view of the log file that accumulates as you interact with SQL Server. So all the actions that you perform are noted here. And obviously there's a lot of material. You can read through this. A lot of it speaks for itself. Some of it is a little more mysterious, so it requires more digging into to be understood properly. For our purposes, I want you to be aware of the fact that this exists. It contains valuable information because it keeps a track of everything. And at the next stage, just one example of what you can do here. Click on filter where it says filter content that is displayed. All right, and that brings up a new panel. And from here, take a look. If you look at the log file and specifically the source column, you see you can go, for example, and for the source, you can just isolate the backup. So to do that, take a look. In the filter settings panel, where it says source, just type logon. I'm sorry, backup. Like that. Logon is another one that, yes, you could do that too with logon. When somebody logs in, that should also be noted here, and then you can search by that. That's what I was thinking about that. That's why I said that. And all right, and then for source backup, just make sure you apply the filter down below. In this panel, filter settings, click OK. And these are all of the actions that correspond to a source of backup. So you can filter down. It's basically a where when you think about it, right? Because you're saying show me everything where the source is a backup. So it's basically like a table if you think about it, right? With a where clause. All right, that's how I imagine it at least. And then if you go back to filter, if you want to remove it, that's fine. Just click in there, delete it, hit OK. Or just clear with the button here, right? You can do that if you like to. And click OK. And that gives you back everything else that you see here. All right, I'm going to leave it here. Again, the additional items, keep that in mind. You can click through them. I'm going to close this though. And that is it. Let me collapse that. I'll see you in the next one.